Distributive negotiations. Hi, my name is Dr. Emily Block, and in this video, we will discuss distributive negotiations. Like it or not, you are a negotiator. Everyone negotiates something every day. In business, contract terms and conditions, hiring and managing performance, and firing people, defining deadlines, scope, and deliverables, collecting fees, seeking alignment about business strategy, enlisting stakeholders, creating partnerships and joint ventures, dissolving them. In life, buying a new car, switching carpool days, or how much screen time your kids are allowed to have, what medical advice to follow, how to spend or how to save, how long your aging parents can live at home, whether to stay together with your partner. Some of my toughest negotiations are with my dog. Negotiation is a key skill which can significantly improve both individual and business performance. Effective negotiation can save time, money, stress, and even relationships while resulting in better deals, higher sales, and more satisfied clients and suppliers. But most people are not familiar with the strategy and psychology between successful negotiations, and as a result, walk away from many encounters with less than optimal agreements. Negotiation is both an art and a science. It is the social process through which conflict is resolved so that resources are allocated or a solution is found that is acceptable to all and leaves both parties feeling like they've won in some way. Negotiations have 5 key characteristics. First, there have to be 2 or more parties. Second, there has to be an upside. You have to anticipate a better outcome as a result of the negotiation than you could realistically achieve on your own. Third, the parties to the negotiation should prefer mutual agreement to any other outcome, like force. Next, there has to be the expectation of give and take. It's not just about one party giving in and the other party getting their way. Finally, there are intangible and tangible components involved in a negotiation. This means that when we are negotiating over, for example, the sale of a car, that there are often other things involved, making a sales goal, the pride of getting a good price, the excitement about buying the car of your dreams, and it can't only be boiled down to sticker price. So when does negotiation make sense? Well, first, when you can't achieve the goals on your own and you need the help or input of others to make them happen. We negotiate when we believe that other people can get us more than what we can get on our own, and when we have something that other people value and when they have something that we value. Distributive negotiation involves haggling over a fixed amount of value, that is, slicing up the pie. In a distributive negotiation, there is likely only one issue at stake, typically price. When you're negotiating with a merchant, in a foreign bazaar, or over a used car closer to home, you're generally involved in a distributive negotiation, and it may be difficult to add issues other than price to the mix. These types of negotiations are competitive, win-lose, focus on claiming value. Negotiators' goals are often in direct conflict. Resources are limited, and instrumental concerns really drive the negotiation. Parties really don't care about their relationships with each other, but rather getting the deal done in the most effective way for them. We often think about the best negotiators as being quick-witted. However, the truth is that the best negotiators are often the most prepared. Preparation means having a plan for the negotiation before it even starts. It means knowing what you want to get out of the deal and how high or low you're willing to go. To be really prepared, there are lots of things you can research. You can do some research to find out the outcome of other similar deals. You can think through and even try and research, if possible, what the other person wants out of the negotiation. The more you know, the better prepared you'll be. But at the very least, you need to know 3 things, and you need to have them cemented in your mind. Number 1, your BATNA. Number 2, your reservation value. And number 3, your aspiration value. BATNA stands for your best alternative to a negotiated agreement. BATNA answers the question, what would you do if you weren't able to agree to a deal with your negotiating partner? It's basically the best option you have if you walk away from this deal. What are you left with? What is your next best option? Your BATNA is important because it determines your negotiating power. For example, imagine you are negotiating a job offer with a potential employer. Will you take a hard line on issues you care about, like salary or starting date? It's much easier to be a tough negotiator if you know you have another job lined up. But if you have no other options, you're probably going to take a really different approach. This is because in this case, having another job offer means having a stronger BATNA. The reservation value is the least favorable point at which you will accept a deal. If you are a buyer, it is the maximum value you will pay. If you are a seller, it is the minimum value you will accept. You can think about the reservation value as the walkaway price or the bottom line. The reservation price operates in two ways. Number one, it prevents you from accepting a deal that you shouldn't accept. Number two, it gives you a yardstick to measure how much better the current deal is than your least favorable position. Your reservation value often has a financial component to it, but it can also be measured in any unit of measurement. For example, it's really tough to negotiate two professional careers and hobbies and a relationship, and my partner and I are often negotiating on how we allocate our time. My reservation value is always, I teach 2 nights a week, so those nights are taken, and I want to go to the gym 3 times a week, and I want us to eat together at least twice a week. His reservation value is I have rugby twice a week. Those are the things that we won't compromise on. The key difference between BATNA and reservation price is that you can't walk away from a deal, BATNA, and accept it, reservation price, at the same time. The reservation price must be at least one value unit above your BATNA. Unlike BATNA, the reservation value is most often expressed as a number. It can be the same number that you get without the negotiation, but it also can mean a different number. For example, imagine you're selling your car. Your relative tells you that they would buy it for you for $10,000. And if you're not able to sell it anywhere, that's your best option. But if you were okay selling it for $10,000 to someone you knew, you might want other buyers to pay at least $11,000. In this case, the BATNA is selling to the relative for $10,000, but the reservation value is $11,000. The aspiration value is basically the absolute best deal you could realistically hope to reach. The key to setting this aspiration value is that it should be both reasonable and supportable, but also optimistic. You should aim high, and much research has shown that negotiators with high aspirations on average do better. But it should be also supportable by arguments as to why this value is reasonable. You don't want to offend your negotiating partner by coming up with a wild aspiration value and risk them walking away. You need to know your BATNA, the reservation value, and the aspiration value to create your bargaining zone or zone of possible agreement. We call that the ZOPA. ZOPA explains the range at which an agreement can be met and both parties can leave happy. A negotiator should always enter a deal knowing their own reservation price and the BATNA. In the example shown here, the seller knows their reservation price and BATNA and is willing to accept any value above their reservation value, as depicted by the arrow. When a negotiator learns the reservation price of the opposite party, they can quickly calculate the ZOPA. From there, the negotiator can begin to sketch out the preliminary terms of the agreement and use collaborative techniques to close a deal. In this example, once the seller knows the buyer's reservation value, they can determine the ZOPA or bargaining zone shown in green. Note that it is possible that no ZOPA is present. For example, a negotiator can enter an agreement with a reservation price for selling their product at $15,000. During the negotiation, the negotiator can discover that the reservation price at which the opposite party would feel comfortable purchasing the product is only $10,000. But ZOPAs can change. From there, the negotiator can try to negotiate with the opposite party and raise the price limit to $15,000. The opposite party will attempt to persuade the negotiator to drop the price to $10,000. Both parties are attempting to create a ZOPA so they can reach a satisfactory agreement. It is a huge advantage to know the upper and lower boundaries of a ZOPA. A negotiator is understandably reluctant to disclose their walk away, as it's the least attractive deal that they would be willing to accept before walking away from the negotiation. But knowing the boundaries of a ZOPA, it's possible to push your counterpart closer to their limit to reach a more favorable deal. Can you think of the last time you engaged in a distributive negotiation? What was your ZOPA? What was your bargaining zone? What was your BATNA? Thanks for watching this video on distributive negotiations. See you in the next video.